Let me try it one more time. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So, just like the title of this stream says, right? I'm seeing this massive fractal, and the idea. Hello, Georgia. We called for a short squeeze, right? And the last long we put out was a 60-40. We hedged short, right? Let me go to a clean chart real quick. So what's going on BTC? We saw a pullback. Were we expecting the pullback? Well, we saw the rising wedge. We saw the oscillators not looking good, and we hedged the short. And upon doing so, it was profitable. It was a real profitable short. Crypto Twitter was really bullish, right? Everybody was bullish. Everybody saw the short squeeze coming. Nobody saw the knife down, right? I'm calling this a knife because it was an absolute knife. And for you guys that are with me, right when we started making this leg down, when it started looking like a knife, I said, hey, we're going to hit 6,400 by the end of the day. And we hit 6,400. And then we caught it. We caught some longs like 63. Mine was like 63.30, 63.50 for the longs on XBTZ. And the reason we longed the knife is because, well, when we saw this pullback happening, Blender and I spent all morning trying to find what's going to happen next. And Blender wouldn't let me off the audio call that we had. He's like, until you tell me where price is going to end up, you have to tell me. And I was kind of clueless. And then we did quite a bit of analysis, and I saw moving averages kind of vortexing. So I decided to hunt down a fractal. And when we did, we realized that this fractal is just like the 4-7 fractal of a short squeeze, except for this one's much bigger in magnitude. And I'm going to go into that. There should be a link to that fractal in the video description. If there's not, I will drop one in there. If you guys follow me on TradingView, I posted that yesterday. We're at 6,900, and I said, hey, we're going to drop straight down to 64. And it was a profitable short. It was a really nice long from 6K to 73, 74. I profit took along the way. I profit took here and I profit took here, and then we had short, and then I got stopped out of the rest. So it was a real good swing up. Now, what's next? What's up with this fractal? This is where it gets interesting. Let me make sure you can see both charts. What's going on, Montana? What's up, Matt? So just to make sure you guys can see what's going on here, we're getting a very similar setup as we did in April on the short squeeze, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and go side by side and kind of clean it up a bit, and I can start this over from scratch. So that's perpetual. Let's go Bitcoin. Nope. So we've got this fractal. Oh, okay, that's still my dumb money charts. All right, well, we're gonna go off this one. Shorts are still building up. We're going parabolic again, and this is where it's gonna get really interesting. I separated this fractal into 5 phases, right? So we start with a swing low, and from there we go to our first peak, which is the initial high, and that was in April. That was April 1st. The initial high was April 3rd, right? So here we go, swing low to swing high. From there, we get a pull down and form a higher low, which is labeled HL. And once again, from HL, what happens is this is phase 1 is swing low to swing high. Phase 2, swing high to higher low. And so we get a 1 and we get a 2. And then when we enter phase 3, we go from this higher low, which is HL, to a lower high in the form of a channel, right? And it was a rising wedge earlier, and it broke back down. And during this time, shorts were still going parabolic, right? There was a little bit of a pullback during phase 3. And in the current time frame on phase 3, we see somewhat of the same thing, right? So this is phase 2, from swing high to higher low, and then from there we go from higher low to lower high in the form of a channel. And where things got really interesting yesterday is phase 4. You guys see this 4 here? There was a knife all the way down, all right? And as soon as we saw this knife develop is when I posted this idea, and we were still at 6,900, and I said, hey guys, 64 is going to be the bottom. You guys can see 69.36 on this fib level, which is the 0.236, and we click play. Boom, you know, price is there, and it's starting to get up into that channel. Right? Go ahead and make that. You guys can see there, price pulled back up to the fib level, and it should enter this channel for another lower high, which is channel 2 in phase 5. So we got phase 1, phase 2, 3, 4, and now we're entering phase 5. So this thing's like 6 phases. And the idea is if it sticks to the same structure of the previous fractal, you're gonna have a really high target. And I think this whole thing is coming together and coming into place to get the most out of the short squeeze, because we saw shorts once again climb to that previous all-time high, and we squeezed, right? But Bitcoin didn't do much, right? We squeezed shorts and we only went up like some 12-13%. That's not what needs to happen to get this market going. We need a bigger squeeze. So I think Market Makers has done this pattern before, and here's the thing with fractals is all it is, it's displaying the same behavior over and over. So this behavior has happened before. Markets are, in these charts, they're just displaying how people are reacting to price and how price is making people react, right? So it's just humans participating in this thing, and creatures a habit, market makers a creature a habit. This is why fractals are valid. So what I think is going to happen from here, price is going to go up in a channel to 71.40, right? To this fib level, to the 50 fib, just like it did previously to the 50% fib. And while it's doing so, we're going to see shorts climb up to a new all-time high. Right now, like yesterday when this pullback started happening, my phone was going off. All the bears coming out of the woodwork like, hey, I thought you said it was going up. I'm like, hey, we had short. And we did really well on our hedge. And we had stops, and I mean, we made 800% on our short. I can't be more grateful than that after buying 60-40 and selling 73, right? Like that's great. We caught the big swing instead of perma bearing. Make sure I have any questions. What's going on, Trader Zed? So from there, I'm expecting price to pull back up to the 50% fib, which puts it at that 7,100. And once again, there's going to be another knife. If you guys were in the trade with me on 4/7 or in April, there was another final shakeout, right? And I'm labeling it as a final shakeout where price is going to tuck back down, form one more higher low before we got the Bitcoin going halal candle. That's what candle that was, right? So if you look at this fractal, the 6 phases, it's like 60% complete, right? We're almost 2 phases. We're in phase 5 right now. We're forming this channel. And if we were to go on an intraday, right? This is an intraday chart. We want to see price start climbing back to 7,100. So as long as we can form a channel, as long as BTC can form a channel and essentially start climbing up and respect this higher low, right? So the idea of this fractal is we can't have a lower low. If we have a lower low at any time in the near future before we hit 7,100, or even from now until, if we have a higher low, the fractal's wrecked. So one condition that needs to uphold is no more lower lows. And the next condition is we want to see a channel form. And if we get that, if we get those 2 conditions, BTC to play along with these 2 conditions, what we should expect is what we saw in the Bitcoin halal announcement after the final shakeout, which is a new rally to the first target's the 1.618 fib, and in this case, which would be a 49% rally to 10,000. And I'm not saying this to be like a perma bull, but shorts are increasing. there's a really good likelihood of a squeeze. The earlier squeeze wasn't effective enough to get us up to a new high. So I think the idea is do what's worked in the past. That's what the market's doing to like recorrect itself to the upside, in my perspective. Anyone have any questions on the fractal play? All makes sense. Awesome. So yeah, the idea is it's this small formation, right, that triggered last short squeeze. This is it, just happening in a much grander scale. The scale here is so much bigger. The time frame so much bigger, and the shorts this should attract should take us up to a new shorting high. And I'm guessing it should be in like the 48 range. Even 60, like if you got 60,000 shorts, like a new all-time high, this thing's gonna pop off like a volcano to the upside. It's gonna be awesome. And I'm bullish until then. If you guys are trading with me, if you guys are in VIP, you know that we always hedge, right? If you're not in VIP and you're not reading my Medium posts and you're just following us, you should definitely read my Medium posts because I had a lot of hints. This was published September 4th, and I'm talking about how we margin trade, and on the hedging part, right, under hedge, this chart was still at 73.41, and I had a hedging symbol up here. So I even like posted it saying, hey, we're hedging over here at 73.41, and our stop loss on this hedge is 74.53, okay? So I mean that right there should be a clear indication that we're hedging. Yes, we called for a short squeeze. Yes, we called for a rally, but we also longed 60.40, which is still a profitable long. And yeah, so I recommend you read this. There's a link to this. It's called Bitcoin Savagery at Margin Trading. Yeah, there's a link to this article on Medium. I recommend you read it. It's going to be a 3-part series. We're finishing up part 2. And we're going to put out part 3. It's essentially how we hedge and how we've gotten these 1,000% plus gains, 800% plus gains. It's real efficient strategy. Market cap. Okay, what's going on with market cap? Well, it's pulling back. It's doing, I was trying to figure out if it's actually doing the same thing that we saw back in 4.7. Get this chart to load. Georgia, I see that question. I will answer it in private. Okay, so this chart's not wanting to load. So, okay, as for market cap altcoins, we're seeing some turnaround. We saw some withstand the sell-off, right? And it's going to be interesting because if we do have this rally, okay, one more time, I'm going to go back to my fractal one more time. And for just to get a sense of time frames, because this is a bigger scale, we couldn't quite, I wasn't able to like scale it to get an exact date, right? And it's really hard to do when you're doing TA, but I put some fib time zones from the higher low to the top of C1, which is that channel we just broke down from. And the next fib, and I did the same thing on the new fractal. And if this fractal was to like agree even on time wise, I'm expecting this to like the move up to be on September 18th or 19th, somewhere in that time frame. And once I did that, I looked up articles about potential ETF announcements, and there's about 5 different announcements coming out on the 20th. So I'm not saying we're gonna get an ETF. what I'm saying is the chart is gearing up to do something big as long as it maintains these conditions, and the time frame is going to be the 18th and 19th. So if we get a rally over there and we get some kind of crazy ETF decision, and somebody tells me TA doesn't work, I don't know what to do about you. All right, moving on. I think I'm done talking about the fractal unless somebody has questions. You guys, let's go through some altcoins. Give me some alts. Show me. I'll cover them for you. You got plenty of time. I did signal Ripple today. We did this on margin, and it's been good, right? While I wait on alts to come in, I'm seeing somewhat a double bottom on Ripple, and let me get in clear. Remove all drawing tools. All right, Metal, Ada, Litecoin. You guys are firing them up. Awesome. Let me make sure how the stream quality is looking, and I'll keep going. All right. So Ripple, I saw a double bottom on Ripple. I saw volume come in pretty violently, right? We have a bullish divergence on all time frames, especially on the 1 day. And when that volume came in, I decided, hey, you know what? If I'm in a long Ripple again, this is the time until it proves me otherwise. And after we longed it, it started forming this really bullish engulfing candle on higher volume. Right, look at this volume coming in here. I'll make this volume bar a little more visible. So that tells me market maker really likes Ripple at this price. And the daily RSI, you know, it's at 43 after being so oversold. That's a good indication. I was looking at the 4 hour. The only thing working against this trade right now is market sentiment. Right, we could go into that, you know, do a quick bounce, two-day bounce or so, and end up in overbought. But I like Ripple at these levels, especially like catching a knife, and I'm just gonna tailor my stop up on this one. It was a pretty good entry today. All right, I'm gonna go back to y'all's altcoins. How much further is it going to go? What are we talking about? Ripple? I think that, so what I'm going to do with Ripple, this is what I'm waiting for. I think this is a double bottom formation. Okay, when you see a double bottom formation, it should go back up to this high. And I'm not sure if it will, but it should. You got this really big buy volume coming in, the rate of change here. Right, it erased all these candles, these bearish candles, on the daily. Right, there's a big rate of change, big volume coming in. Compared to what it did last time at these lows, it wasn't as aggressive going back up. All right, let's go back to the 1 day. It was rounding, and it took like 3 days to wipe out all this price action. Right now, just a couple of hours. So that shows me that we're potentially at a bottom. I've been hunting down a wedge and I couldn't find one, so it might be a double bottom. Back to the formation. What's the trade? So there's a few ways to look at this one. And this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, right? So we're above the 0.236 fib, right? 23.6 fib, we're above that. I want to see what happens at the 50%. If price can get up to this 5,600 range and do what a double bottom does, is go up, break out, come back down for a retest, I'm very much likely to double up on the retest because that would be a full-blown reversal. But there's nothing indicating that we're going up that far. So right now I'm just gonna play the fib levels and trim my stop up. I would not enter this trade on margin as we speak, right? I think that's too risky at this point. We kind of caught the knife on the way back up. All right, going to metal. We know something that we know metal's got some stuff in the works, right? And we're still seeing a lot of accumulation at these levels. We're seeing a lot of accumulation at these levels. A lot of buyers interested, and we know why. We think we know why. So metal's still a hold until some of the news comes out about what they're doing. A lot of people thought that metal was done, right? So I remember when metal first got listed, we saw this happen. It was a lot of traders were excited about it. A lot of funds I'm working with were excited about it. And what happened was one of the biggest holders of metal that bought the ICO or pre-ICO, I don't know if it was, I think it was ICO coin. One of the biggest holders decided to just market dump. He decided he wanted his money and he got out. And when he did, it tanked the chart. And ever since then, metal hasn't recovered. They haven't put out any news. It's just been in this downtrend. But we've got reason to believe that they've got something really good in the works. And yeah, so I like this. Litecoin. You guys know how I feel about Litecoin, right? Let's go to Bitfinex. I still don't think Litecoin is ready for a reversal, right? Based on what the chart's doing, what it's done in the past, the volume, the RSI. I mean, I was in this on margin and I got stopped out. I don't think I'm going to touch it again just yet. I don't have a reason to. It's a range trade, okay? Definite range trade. What does a range trader do? They buy support and they sell resistance. Okay, we got 3 touches. We have more than we got 1. Let's bring this up just a little bit. And we got so many touches. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's in a range. All right, Litecoin's gonna get interesting if it decides to break out of the range. It's not how reversals happen, but that's how tokens get stronger. When resistance becomes support. So a good thing to keep an eye out for on Litecoin is breaking out of this range. Can Litecoin give us a trade? All right. If it breaks out of the range and it retests, the top of the range is a good entry for the breakout. The target of that breakout, if it breaks out of the range, first target's at 99. Nope. First target's 98. Second target's 107 and such. And you can also do the downtrend targets. But it hasn't shown me a full-blown reversal. It set 2 interesting key points though, right? I mean, if it breaks down from the range, it could be a short. If it breaks up out of the range, it could be a long. And there's also always the possibility or opportunity to short the top of the range, along the bottom of the range. Just a range trade, guys. And gals. ADA. Not liking what volume is not doing. You guys can see my last alert on ADA was the break of 2236. A break of 2236 to the upside would have made me more bullish. Let me go to Binance since they've had more volume, see if there's any interest. There's a little bit of interest at this price, and we're kind of seeing a wedge. Not sure if it's classical wedge or it's got curvature to it. There's definitely a massive wedge in play, right? Not quite sure. We're just gonna exclude these highs back here and just focus on what's right in front of us. So I'm not trying to stretch it out too much. I don't think that's valid. Is this valid? This one could be valid, right? We can even tailor it down and see if there's a secondary wedge inside the first wedge. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 touches. Not in a zigzag fashion though. I'd want to see what ADA does at this trend line, right? This resistance line. I think if it breaks above that 14.4, gets back up to these highs on decent volume, I might get a reversal, right? If you compare this based compared to what I showed on Ripple earlier, right? Which one's got more momentum? Ripple's got a lot more momentum. So, but we do know that historically they've rallied together. NPXS. This was a Twitter shell, wasn't it? You can say no, I know it was. So we're looking at a coin that got listed at 100. It's currently at 27 Satoshis. It's not even, it's a tight range, right? Not even. Look, it could be a triangle bottom. There's just so little price action here. It's definitely very constricted. I wouldn't even call that a triangle bottom. I mean, somebody can tell me, hey, this looks like a cup and handle. Usually cup and handles aren't formed at the bottom. But just looking at our VPVR, there's quite a... I don't think you guys can see it. My VPVR. There's not a whole lot of overhead volume, right? There's practically no volume overhead. So if this thing can get up to 31, if this can break above 31 and above 41, there's literally no selling pressure overhead. So it's just a range trade. And how far down can it go? I mean, then we're at 0. I don't know. It's just a range trade. Range breaks out if a chart breaks out of the range, then it could be due for a bullish continuation. If it turns around and comes back down, well, hey, that's a sell, it's a buy. All right, fam, hit me with some more tokens. real quickly, if you're just tuning in on the live stream, I recommend watching like the first 10 minutes when I went over the BTC fractal. Looking at a fractal from 4.7, I'm just going to highlight it one more time. We're looking at a fractal from 4.7, the previous short squeeze and how it played out. And I go over the details. I've got the analysis on TradingView. I'll go ahead and drop the link in the description right now for you guys that just tuned in. And I've got a pretty good layout detail. All right. XLM looking excellent. Huge pennant formation on the daily price. Didn't tank badly with other alts. Terrific. Let's hey, welcome to the live stream. I'm gonna go ahead and look at lumens for you. Oh, breaking out. Lumens is looking good. I actually, real quickly, I had posted today. Check this out. I think you and I have a similar eye. Seraphic's a friend of mine, trader from different circles. Check this out. 1:11 p.m. That was about 7 hours ago. XLM wedge is tight. Bvol on Binance tells me market maker likes around these levels. We could be seeing a wedge breakout for Lumen in the near future, and it is happening. Good stuff. All right, so we're seeing alts rally. We're seeing them come back to life. How sustainable is this going to be? Well, if we get some kind of ETF decision that sets BTC in an all-out rager, when we get that big candle. Last time we had a short squeeze, alts rallied as well. We had the best rally of 2018 yet back in April. We had so many tokens go over 200%. And now we did see like Nano take off. We saw a bunch of coins start really increasing their value, and we're seeing the market pull back for a good reason. Everybody was bullish, right? Now, and everyone was almost too bullish. They had to get burnt out by market maker. All right, we got any more altcoin requests? Got about 30 more minutes dedicated to the stream. I know we're only on YouTube today. Usually I kind of alternate Facebook and YouTube requests, so got a smaller audience. ETH. I'm going to look at ETH BTC and then I'm going to look at ETH USD, right? I want to cover both of them. All right, ETH BTC is looking interesting. Quite a bit of BTC came into ETH today to try to pick price back up. I'm still not seeing like the secondary bullish engulfing candle. We still don't see one. I'm not seeing the rate of change I like to see at a bottom. By rate of change, I mean how fast back up does this price rebound. I was looking at ETH USD for a possible margin long, and I wanted a long at like 212. There's a Dragonfly Doji, and price should turn around and go back up, but we're seeing price discovery, right? And I've written about price discovery several times, and that's in the form of these bearish engulfing candles. And what happens with price discovery is bears, right, over shorting the market maker is saying, I wonder how far down I can push ETH. How many people can I stop out? How much cheaper we can get ETH to go? Just like they did with BTC. And what's different about BTC is that during all the price discovery and during a selling climax, where we saw shorts climb to all-time high twice, and now we're back at an all-time high again, under price discovery pressure, we started getting higher lows. So we had a BTC, I'm just going to do a comparison so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to add the shorts chart. and I'll go over ETH right after I do this, just to show you what price discovery means as a concept. Get rid of my VPVR. So we had shorts climbing an all-time high, right? And BTC, make sure you guys can see this. Man, the struggle is real with these monitors. I'm on an ultra wide and it's just a second, guys. Sorry. All right, so we saw shorts climbing an all-time high back in April, and price formed a low. And then when we formed that 5,800 low, right, there wasn't that much selling pressure, and price turned around and made a higher high than previously on that false rally. Then what happened next was another selling climax. Selling climax as in shorts are an all-time high. It's accumulation time, right? Market makers buy in while people are short selling. What happened after that? We had a rally, right? We had a minor squeeze where shorts came back down, and now we're going back up. But what's going on with BTCs after all this price discovery, and I'm just going to draw some arrows down to price discovery, which are going to be those really big dump candles, right? So this is price discovery. Over here again, and again, and again, right? But what's interesting is we get all this price discovery on more selling pressure, yet price is maintaining higher lows. Right? We got 50, we had a 57, and then we can go off this candle to 58, and now, 61. This is BitMEX, so it's going to be a little more exaggerated because people want a big leverage. And now price is back at 6,500, right? This is awesome. We should expect the channel to kind of progress, break down, and then moon time. So until ETH becomes more resistant to price discovery, where we start seeing at least higher lows, I'm not a buyer. But 220, that was a really good deal. Thank you, Delilah. Welcome back. It's good to see you, and I'm glad you're working on your dream project. It's good to have you back. You just made me smile. Thank you, and I'm really happy for you. So I'd like to see ETH double bottom, do a wedge, do some kind of reversal formation or consolidation formation that's going to tell us, hey, it's time to go back up. All right, fam, I'll take two more altcoin requests. Going once. Going twice. Well, since I couldn't quite do a dual stream tonight, I'm probably gonna go live again tomorrow at like 10 a.m. I'll go over ICX. I actually had a signal on ICX last week, but I'm gonna go live again tomorrow, probably Facebook Live if I can't get a dual stream, so you guys will catch me in about 12 hours. ICX icon. Seraphic, I like this chart. I want to like it more. There's no bearish divergence on the 12-hour. Let me go to 240. I think this one's still good for a long, right? Because we had our breakout. This is just a throwback. All right, the chart came back down with a market sell-off. And it dipped slightly below where that previous resistance was. So, I mean, just look at this in terms of ranges. We got 1, 2, 3 touches. We got a breakout. Price comes back down, retests the previous level of resistance, and now it's trying to turn into support. So, I mean, this looks like a good level. We're seeing a lot of throwbacks happen with this sell-off. I mean, the whole market cap just took a nice pullback. Intraday. Is this a bear flag? Is this a pennant? I'm not gonna call this an inverse head and shoulders, but this is looking like a triangle bottom on like a 30-minute chart. And I'm not a range trader, traffic. I really like playing breakouts and sustainable longs, so I mean, as of now, this is looking like it could go up based on this being a throwback and based on this consolidation. It's pretty bullish. Somebody's probably got a sell wall here. 2 BTC, that's not keeping it down. Almost looks like a rising channel. Let's go back to a 240. Time frame? Like a rising wedge? Oh, I get what you're saying. Let's remove all this. Remove all drawing tools. So yeah, it looks like a triangle bottom, right? It's like an ascending triangle bottom. Expanding wedge to the upside. Yeah, it does. It does. I see that. I think it's too young to call though, especially being, you know, at a market turn. I look forward to you telling me your perspective on it and see how it all plays out. Well, I think that's about it for tonight. I'll be back live again. I'm probably just gonna go Facebook Live tomorrow to kind of make up, compensate for the Facebook audience not be able to come in and watch tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll catch you on Discord. Make sure to subscribe to us on Medium. What else? TradingView. Check that TradingView chart. I posted the link in the comments. So I'll see you guys on Discord, and thanks for tuning in.